Welcome back to the Adventures of Happy Hours. In this video, we're going to do a post-season hull inspection and check on the shrink wrap that was just recently installed. I was pleased with the quality of the shrink wrap. It was tight all around, and there was plenty of air vents that were installed to keep any mildew at bay. As I do every time I come down to the boat during the winter, I hook up the generator and top off the charge on the batteries just to keep everything in tip-top shape. This discoloration on the hull is actually from the acid wash that I performed after taking it out of the water. I used on and off, which is great for getting rid of any slime and brown stains from the fiberglass hull, but it wreaks havoc on the bottom paint. My plan in the spring is to sand the sides of the boat and touch up the paint, so all this won't be visible by the time we're in the water next year. I inspected all the underwater hardware and noticed that there were some spots that had some barnacle on it. The bottom of the trim tabs and some locations on the chines of the hull. These will easily be scraped off in the spring and touched up with more bottom paint. When we painted the bottom last year, I didn't remove the thruster propellers to really get the paint all the way inside the tunnel. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of barnacle past the propellers. I won't make the same mistake this year, and I'll remove those propellers, scrape off all that barnacle, and get a good coat of paint behind those propellers. I replaced the zincs last year, and it looks like I might be able to get a second season out of them. The zinc plate on the stern doesn't appear to have corroded at all, with the exception of some barnacle, so I'll be able to use that again next year. The bottom of the trim tabs had quite a bit of barnacle on them. The boat never had the bottom of the trim tab painted, but this year I'm going to use some bottom paint, touch those up, keep this barnacle from forming. Working our way to the running gear, I checked the shafts and the propellers and the zincs on the shaft, which were also in pretty good shape. I did replace them last year. I was pleased to see not a lot of barnacle on the shaft of the propellers. They weren't painted last year, it was just plain stainless. There was a little bit of barnacle, but other than that, not too bad. Now this is what really surprised me. For those of you who follow my channel, I had a video where I struck a large log or piece of wood on the Hudson River, and the starboard propeller appeared to have a really bad vibration when that first happened. For some reason, the vibration seemed to get less, so I was guessing that something was wrapped around the prop and eventually worked its way loose. I was expecting to find some sort of damage to one of the blades on the propeller. I could hardly find anything other than a small ding on one blade. Other than that, everything looked good. I next checked the strut to look for any damage. It had a little bit of barnacle, nothing to write home about. The zincs on both trim tabs were also in really good condition, and I won't have to replace those. The port side running gear was in similar condition. A little bit of barnacle, the zinc in good condition, and no apparent major issues. When checking the port prop more in depth, I did find a larger ding that I wasn't even aware of. I didn't have any vibration at all on the port engine, so I found that to be a little surprising. Doesn't appear to be anything major that I would worry about pulling the props and having them refurbished this year, but I just found it interesting because it was the starboard prop that hit the log. The port zinc appeared to be worn a little more than starboard. You could actually see where the stainless is cleaner, and that's where the zinc was actually at the beginning of the season. So it had shrunk down a little bit. I'll probably be replacing these for next season. Strut was in good shape. There was no play in either the strut or the rudder. So overall, we seem to be in good shape. I have some sanding and scraping to do, a couple small maintenance items as far as zincs, pull in some props, but other than that, nothing major. Time to pick up some new bottom paint and get ready for the spring. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching, and have a great winter.